when we try to do what we want and still be obedient to God, it's called partial obedience. Okay? And when you think about it and you use some common sense, partial obedience is no obedience at all. Okay? Do you expect your kids to be partially obedient to you? No, right? There's partial obedience is no obedience at all. But in our walk with Christ, we try to give that partial obedience. We do what we want, but we try to be obedient to God, and it's a battle. I'll give the Lord partial obedience. Partial obedience is no obedience at all. And no child of God benefits from holding on to what is God's. Okay, you may think, man, I don't want to give because I want to do this, or I don't have no time to do this because I don't want to do this. You're not going to benefit from keeping what is God's. You may think you will, but in the end, you will not benefit from it. And it all goes back to being obedient to the Lord. Am I living in obedience to God? Do I realize that He has to be number one? Do I realize that it is all His? And not only am I living in obedience to God, but going back to the title of this sermon, am I willing to try God? Am I willing to test God? I love it. I love verse 10. Because he says, and try me now in this. He says, listen, you guys think that you can keep what is mine. You think that it's going to be better for you. You think you're going to find more joy and more hope in it. He says, and try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it. Not just a little bit of blessing. He says, I'm going to flood you with so much blessing you won't even know what to do with it. But the question is, am I willing to try God? Am I willing to sell out and make God number one priority? Am I willing to give God everything that I have? Am I willing to put everything and clear my calendar and say, Lord, what is it you want me to do? Am I willing to use a spiritual gift that God has given me that people don't even know because I've been selfish for too long and I don't want to give it to the Lord? The Lord says, try me in this. He challenged the Israelites here. He says, try me. Try me according and give according to the law and see what will happen when you are obedient to it. See what will happen when you give a tenth. And it's very important that we don't get hung up in the amount and miss the promise of this. When God says, give me this or give me that, don't get hung up in the amount. Because when you get hung up in the amount, you miss the promise, the end of verse 10. God says, listen, I want you to give. Andrew's not in here, so I can talk about him, right? I always say that about Mindy. We had Tom Trees here for July 4th. You know that if you were here. And we took up a love offering. Me and Andrew joke about this a lot, but he goes, man, the Lord laid on my heart that I needed to give Tom this much. And I'm not going to share the amount, but it was a very nice amount. He said, I was bad. I'm like, man, I really want to give this much. This is a lot of money. And he said, I can't bet. He goes, I knew I had to give it. I had to, because something would be bothering me if I didn't give this amount. So he gave it to me, and then after, we talked. There was just a joy that he had in knowing he did what was obedient. The flesh is always going to try to pull you down when the Lord tells you to do something. But the reason he could give that and have a joy is because he knew the promise. He didn't miss the promise. He didn't get caught up on the amount. Yes, sometimes the Lord is going to call you to give some things to test to see how much do you really trust Him. Are you willing to give that much? Are you willing to give when you don't have enough money to pay your rent on your house, or you don't have enough money to put gas in the car? Will you give when the Lord tells you to give? Those are the hard times to give. But don't miss the promise by being focused on the amount. The promise far outweighs anything that you can ever give. He says, I will open for you the windows of heaven. The windows of heaven, and pour out on you such blessing that there will be not enough room for you to receive it. You will receive so much that you will have no idea what to do with the blessing of God. And as I know, and you know, I'm convinced this is not happening as it should in the church. Because when you look at people, you look at us, you look at all of God's body, we are not walking around as if we have received so much blessing that we do not know what to do with it. We don't. And if we are not walking around, because let me tell you something, when you try God, He is faithful. If He says He's going to do something, He can do something. Obviously, we're not doing our part. Because if we were, not all of us at least, if we were, our lives would be filled with so much blessing that we wouldn't know what to do with it. But when you look at the body of Christ, is that what you see? I don't know, maybe I'm seeing something different. That's not what I'm seeing when I look at the body of Christ. I'm not just talking about us here. I'm talking about the entire body of Christ. When I look at people that profess to be believers, I do not see people that have been so overwhelmed with blessing that they don't know what to do. I see people that are complaining, questioning God, frustrated because they don't have what they want in this life, mad at the situation that God has put them in. You know what the problem is? God is not first in our lives. That is how we're living. Because he says, if we will be faithful to him, if we will put him number one in our life, he will pour out upon our lives so much blessing that we will not know what to do with it. Doesn't mean we're not going to go through difficult times. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you, hey, when God's first in your life, life's going to be easy. I believe that Paul set us a good example of God being first in his life, and Paul was in jail for a large majority of his life. I'm not saying you're not going to face difficult times and circumstances, but when God is first in your life, you notice Paul didn't complain when he was in jail. He sang praises to God. You know why? Because God was number one in his life. God was priority one, and when he did that, he was full of blessing, whether he was in jail or he was out of jail. He was full of blessing because he had tried God, and God had been faithful. And when you think about trusting God and being willing to try God, it comes back to that issue of trust. And how crazy for us that so many children of God will trust God for their salvation, trust God with their eternal security, but they seem to not be able to trust him with their finances or their careers or giving, whatever it may be. How can we say we trust God for our salvation, but we don't trust God in every other aspect of our life? That makes no sense. The problem is we are not willing to try God. We are not willing to sell out and say, I'm going to give up everything this world has to offer to be a soldier in God's army and to go to battle every day, to live and to honor and glorify God. Are we willing to test God? And as we see here, the outcome of being willing to try God is the blessings that overflow you. R.G. Latourneau invented earth-moving machines. And it goes to say that he gave away 90% of his income. But the money came in faster than he could give it away. And this is what he said himself. I shovel it out, and God shovels it back. But God has a bigger shovel. Think about that. Listen, you cannot outgive God. You've heard me say this over and over and over again. You cannot outgive God. His shovel is always bigger. He's always going to give you more. That's not the reason you give, but listen, when God is number one in your life, his blessings flood your life. The problem is often we have a misinterpretation of blessing. We think of health, we think of finances, we think of having all the comforts of this world. Often the blessings that he is talking about are eternal.
Amen.
Are things that you can't put a price on.
Amen.
But our mindset of what a blessing is, well, I'm trying to do that. I don't feel like God's blessing me. Blessings are not always finance, they're not always material things. I've been blessed so much, and God has opened, and it's not because I've always put God number one in my life. It's not because I've been the perfect child of God. But he has blessed me in ways that I don't deserve. I literally feel like that verse is my life. Poured out that there would not be enough room to receive it. I don't deserve anything I have. You don't deserve anything you have. Have health to be standing here. That's something a lot of people don't have. I thank the Lord I was saved when I was 8 years old. He protected me from so many things that who knows what would have happened in my life. I realize I don't take that for granted. I know a lot of people that have got saved and they went through some things that they think, man, I wish I would not have to go through that. They lived, like I said, not that I haven't done a lot of bad things, but the Lord saved me when I was 8 years old, brought me up in a church home. Father was pastor. I grew up in the church. That's a spiritual heritage, and you don't take that stuff for granted. That's a blessing. It's a blessing to be protected from the things that the Lord protected me from. Not once have I ever had a desire to drink, smoke. The desire hasn't even been there. the desire to do some things that a lot of my friends did, I never even had the desire. Never even wanted to do. It's never even like, man, that's a temptation. I need to fight that. I never even had a temptation. That is a blessing that only God can give.
Amen.
The Lord will pour out blessing upon your life. To have a wife that is a believer. To have 3 children. Those are blessings. You can't put a price on those things. But often we think of blessing, we think, I got a lot of money, I got a nice car, the Lord blessed me with this house, I got all the comforts, I want something, I just go out and I get it. That's not what God's talking about. He said, listen, put me first, and the blessings will flow out of you where you will not have enough room to receive it. But we have to be willing to try God and say, you know what? Will I live in obedience to God? Will I try God on this? Will I sell out, deny myself of everything, deny myself of these worldly pleasures to try God? This is not about giving a tenth of everything you have, this passage. Not for us living in the New Testament ages. This is about, is God number one priority in your life? Are you willing to test Him? I'll close with this. A young boy went to the store with his mother. The shop owner, a kindly man, passed him a large jar of suckers and invited him to help himself to a handful. Uncharacteristically, the boy held back, so the shop owner pulled out a handful for him. When outside, the boy's mother asked why he had suddenly been so shy and wouldn't take a handful of suckers when offered. The boy replied, because his hand is much bigger than mine. He's a pretty smart little kid. Listen, that's how it works in the family of God. His hand is always much bigger than yours. He can always give you much more than you could ever give him. So often, we put other things before God. So often, He is not our number one priority. So often, we rob Him of things that are His, and we wonder why we are where we are. We wonder why we're not maturing in our walk with Christ. We wonder why we don't feel like our life is full of blessing. It's because we have to understand God has to be number one. We can't just say He's number one. We just can't come to church and pretend He's number one and pray and sing and act like God's number one. This stuff is meaningless if you are not allowing God to do something real in your life. Every Sunday morning when you come here, if God is not transforming, if God is not doing something real in your life, you're wasting your time. There's no point in coming. Often I think, how many times do we come to church and we get up, we sing songs, get up and we preach, and people just leave, and hey, I got to see this person, it was good to see that person, and nothing real ever happens. I pray every week now, Lord, that He would do something real in the hearts of every single person that's going to be with us. Something real, not just coming to church. Our churches are full of people that just come to church. They just come. They don't ask the Lord to speak to them. They don't ask the Lord to cleanse them of their sin before they go to church so they can hear the Holy Spirit speaking to them. They just come to church to come. Make them feel good. They don't want the blessings of God in their life. Obviously, hopefully God is doing something real in your life. Because at the end of this, what we have to realize is not only are we robbing God, but who are we robbing? Ourselves. When you do not give to God what is His, you're robbing yourself. Who could say no to the blessings of God? If you were honest with yourself and said, listen, do A, B, and C, and God will pour out so much blessing upon your life, you won't even know what to do with it. No one's going to say, I don't want that. No thanks. I'll live in misery and suffering my whole life. No. Everyone wants the blessing of God. And we rob Him, and when we rob the Lord, we're robbing ourselves. Worship team, you come at this time.